It's fair to say this trip didn't get off to the greatest of starts. Huge thunderstorms and a 2.5 hour delay at the tunnel didn't help things much. But once we were the other side into France, the weather improved and it was only a short 3.5 hour drive to our destination. I hadn't seen my old mate Darren for a while, so I was looking forward to catching up with him. I know that he'd fished the lake a couple of times before and had some really good fish to over £60, and he had some valuable information about the lake. It was very weedy by all accounts, but there was a good stock of big fish in there as well as some very nice backup scaly fish. So all in all, it sounded like a really interesting lake and one that I was really looking forward to fishing. So we did a draw for swims, and I normally hate draws because I'm so terrible at them, and yeah, this time I actually come out first. There was only 4 of us, and I picked number 1. So yeah, but the trouble is it's always the same when I come to new lakes. You know, you walk around them and to be honest, every swim looks the same. You know, I didn't see any fish as such, and so it's a little bit of a lottery. But what I've done, I've gone in a swim that's next to the shallows. There's a big shallows bay to my right, and apparently the water's about 18 inches 2 feet up at the moment, and the weather's meant to be improving as the week goes on. Now I haven't seen any fish in the bay, but with those conditions, high water and improving weather, that to me says that the fish should come into the bay at some stage. You know, it's all a bit hypothetical because I've looked in the bay and there's nothing in there at all at the moment. It's absolutely barren. I'm hedging my bets a bit and just hoping that the plan works, but yeah, we'll have to see anyway. But it's a lovely swim. You know, it's nice and shaded here. We've got sun if we want, but we've got shade as well. And yeah, we come through this tunnel of trees and we've got the blockhouse up. There's a nice bit of room for the blockhouse, and yeah, it's like our bivvy of choice when we've got a bit of room. I do like the blockhouse. Takes 2 big beds, nice and easy, and just nice and comfortable. You've got that headroom. But I've also put up the little oval brolly just to sit under during the day. But there's lots of nice swims on here, but this one just sort of grabbed me. I don't know why. So, well, we'll see as time goes on, see if it's the right choice or not. Hopefully it is. Right, go and see what we got. So I've got a bit of seed, some pellet, some boilies, nice little well, this one, Scopet squid snowman. It's only first rod's going out now, but at the moment it looks really nice, this lake. Some of my favourite fishing in England has been on the weedy lakes, the Mere for one, and Kingsmead Island Lake was fantastic, just like this. Going out, nice and clear water, thick weed, but yeah, you look down, you can see all those lovely clear spots in between. Yeah, it just looks lovely. It's like a forest down there. So many places for these fish to hide. I mean, they could just literally, well, you see, like that, they could well be pathways that the fish use in and out of the weed, tunnels. You know, they do tend to have tunnels and live in the weed and just make their way through it. You know, it appears like it's just a forest on top, but underneath there's probably all little roadways they've got through this weed. Yeah, and these little holes. It's very tempting just to even put some bait just in a hole, one of these holes like that. Sure, the fish will be moving through there. God, it looks so good. Well, there is lots of weed out here, but there is also some lovely clear spots. There really is. A lot of roach down here, saying that. But this, God, that looks such a good spot there. It really does. That's got to be a spot for a bait, that one. Wow, that looks good. It really does look good. Looks deep as well. It looks like it's been dug out down there. Well, I'm having one there, whatever happens. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, those roach might be a bit of a pain. There we go. I'll bring it in close to the edge of the weed. It's a nice big channel there, but bring it in close to the edge of the weed. I'm going to have to put a bit of food on that because those roach are just going to annihilate all this, I should think. I mean, I love weed fishing. I really do. Weedy lakes. When you can find spots like that. It's got carp written all over it, that has. I mean, down here you can see the bottom, it's all shallow, and in there it's like a deep hole. Beautiful. Darren was fishing the same bank as us, but further down to our left. And yeah, he knew the lake a little bit better, and he'd got in one of his favoured areas where he knew a few spots. So it was no surprise when the message came through that he'd got off the mark with a couple of really nice scaly mirrors. These are the backup fish and the ones that are growing on to be the future of the lake, and they are absolutely lovely. But I wasn't far behind him. I had my own scaly fish to get off the mark with, and at just over £25 I was very, very pleased with this one. It's always good to get the first fish from a new lake, and especially when it looks as good as that. It certainly put a smile on my face, and yeah, we just hoped that at some stage we would see some of the bigger ones, but we was all happy with the start that we had made. Well, you're allowed to use boats on here, which is a pretty sensible way of fishing it, really, I think, as long as you are sensible about it. Not everyone fishes that way. There's Terry and Steve down the other end who have fished here before, and they're not using a boat, they're casting, and you know, so each their own, fair play. I love to use a boat if I can. It just gives you so many more options and such a better view of the areas you're fishing over, and bait placement. You know, a lot of these holes in the weed are fairly small, so you can place them precisely from a boat. And so yeah, that's the way I like to do it anyway. And the nice thing is I'm allowed to use my own boat. You are allowed to use your own boats here. So I've got the Nash 2.4 rib, and yeah, let's have a little look. You know, obviously a life vest, you know, that I've got different ones. I've got inflatable ones and like the foam ones, but the foam one just stays in the boat all the time so that I never forget it. And if it rains or the boat gets a bit of water inside, it doesn't go off on its own. So that, you know, that for me is a safe option to have it in there all the time. I'm using an engine. I've got the Nash 65-pound thrust, and you know, that's a bit overkill for here. You don't need such a powerful engine, but it's nice to have the power if you need it. A lot of the time I'm rowing because of the amount of weed. It's getting caught in the prop quite a bit, but you know, it's nice to have that power if you need to get out for a fish, which, you know, a lot of the time they get weeded up, so you need to get out there quick. So a bucket of bait there, and you know, it's obviously it's easier than keep putting it in and out of the boat. 2 H blocks, and I always keep a couple in the boat because when you're going out, you go out for a little look and you see a spot that you like, and you think, right, I'll come back and get a marker, and you go back out, you can't find it. So it's better to have a couple in the boat at all times, and then you're covered. Yeah, just a bait scoop saves getting your hands all messy, and then bait oily hands on the oars. You know, it just keeps everything clean and tidy. Landing net's worth talking about. It's a solid frame net, and reason for that is I don't use it a lot, but it is good for boat work on weedy waters. And a lot of time, if you're playing a fish that's got weeded and you're pulling like a, you know, big sort of weed bed and it's all straggling strands down, you know, sometimes a soft drawstring is hard to get underneath the fish, but the solid frame helps you actually get under a lot easier and get the whole lot in the net. So, you know, so that's a handy bit of kit in the right situation, which is here. And there's one other little thing which is a lifesaver at times, and this is a homemade jobby, and it's literally just a hook on the end of a pole, and you think, oh, what's that all about? Little flotation aid there in case it drops over the side. I'm going to lose it. But the thing is, there's so many uses for that, there really is. And it's handy for pulling weed out of the way, or if you have got a fish weeded solid, you can sort of edge around the side and dislodge some of the weed. It's also useful if you're trying to hold yourself still by a tree. If you're fishing near trees or the bank, you can literally hook onto a branch and hold yourself still, because you do tend to drift quite quickly if you're not sort of tethered to something. And the same when you come back to the bank, either with a fish or with a rod. It's easy just to hook onto a bank stick or even a tree root or branch to pull yourself into the bank. And yeah, that gets a lot of use. It's an amazingly useful, very sort of easy to make bit of kit. But yeah, that gets used a lot. So there we go. You know, it's a bit mucky in the old boat, but that means it's getting used, which it is. And yeah, I'm loving this. I love getting out on the water in boats, especially weedy waters, clear waters, where you can see what you're going over and see where the fish are a lot of the time. You have to be a bit careful in boats when you're going over the fish, because they can spook from areas, and you know, once you've spooked them, they might not come back. So you do have to be a bit careful sometimes. But it's so lovely to get out there and actually find spots and find the fish. And yeah, for me, it's a big help towards actually putting them on the bank. So yeah, happy days for me using the boat. I get asked all the time about engines and boats and batteries and what I use. And as far as batteries are concerned, I've used all sorts of different ones over the years, lead acid and lithium. But by far the best one I've ever used by a long way is this one, the Volta case lithium. And it's a big one, it's 200 amp hours, so it's very powerful, and yeah, it holds its charge for a long time. So it doesn't need recharging very often. But Volta case also do a foldable solar panel, which has got 4 panels, and solar panels have come on leaps and bounds in recent years. They're a lot more effective than what they used to be. So yeah, you can basically do everything from on the bank. I mean, the power in this lasts ages, but while you're fishing during the day, you can be charging it up anyway with the solar panel. And you can download an app onto your phone which shows you the charging status and percentage and everything else. So, you know, you can literally see what's happening, how much charge you've got. And yeah, like I say, it's just the best bit of kit I've ever used. So yeah, if you're looking for, you know, a good top end battery for a boat, then that's the one, I reckon. As the weather started to warm up a little bit, the fish did move towards the shallows, which I'd hoped and prayed for at the start of the trip. But now it was starting to happen, so it was no surprise when a little bit more action came my way. During the darkness, I had another lovely scaly mirror, which I just photographed on the mat. And yeah, very pleased with that. But what came next in the early hours of daylight was one of the fish I really wanted to see, one of the big girls. What a beauty, eh? There's only been small fish coming out around the lake, and it's been tough as well, just trying to find little clear spots in the thick weed. But yeah, just about 40 minutes ago it rattled off. I found a new little spot, quite shallow water, only about 4.5 foot, and this was the result, 55-12. A fantastic angry common. I mean, what a beautiful fish. I'm over the moon with that. Absolutely great. And nearly pulled my arms off. God, fought so hard. In and out of weed beds, all over the place. Stripping line across shallows. And there we go. Excellent, mate. Big Fish Thursday. Lovely. It's just nice to have a little wander sometimes and have a look through the weed beds. It's so interesting, this lake, it really is. And there's so many little nooks and crannies where the fish could be hiding. That's the beauty of weedy lakes, I suppose. Fish could be anywhere at any time, and they have been moving around the lake. And yeah, yesterday and the day before they were down this corner in numbers, and they're not here in the same sort of numbers now, but they are here. And at least this way I can sort of creep around and see them. Out in the boat you get a better view from the boat, but you're more likely to spook them, whereas I can actually see them from here and yeah, leave them resting up actually not far from where the baits are. This is one of the lovely little viewing spots right up in the Shallows Bay. Oh, there goes one now. Oh, I was hoping we was going to see one. Yeah, I stood here the other day and there was fish cruising along this margin, and I know the owner Tony filmed some really big fish here a couple of weeks ago, some of the big ones cruising up and down here. So it's lovely just to creep up here and have a little look at the fish, you know, sort of happy in their own environment up here. Oh, this is lovely. I could literally sit here all day just watching fish. Oh, there's a tench just going through. I could sit here all day and watch these fish coming and going. If you're still enough and quiet enough, it's amazing what you see. It's amazing what you see coming and going. I haven't seen any of the big girls here, but there was a nice there was a common literally just came straight through about 3 foot from where I'm standing. I mean, it's... Oh, I just tilt the camera a little bit because that's where they're coming through. It's just lovely to watch them coming through and then really relaxed. They feel safe here, don't they? There's a few fish here. There's more fish here than what I thought, actually. Yeah, and I've not been seeing any of the big girls, but I think there tends to be a mixture of fish together. You know, you'll see a few little ones and then a big one will be in amongst them somewhere, so they're probably not far away, but there's certainly a few fish here. Went up and photographed a 54 for Darren a little while ago, but I thought my chance of a bite had gone. But there we go. This little one came out of nowhere. Didn't think there was any fish around, but there we go. There was one lurking about up there, feeling hungry. Oh, it's a lovely morning, it really is. And we had a really nice barbecue yesterday. Tony and Julie sorted that out for us, so thanks to them. It was lovely, we all got together, had a few drinks and a bit of food, and it was really nice. So I had a good night's sleep last night. Darren got me up this morning with a lovely £54 comedy just had. So yeah, things have been happening towards the end of the week. To be honest, I thought all the fish had gone from this end. it was all clear out there, you know, and no sign of any fish. I came back, was just laying down, and then yeah, out of the blue it's just rattled off. It's not a big one, is it? But it's a lovely fish, and yeah, very welcome. Yeah, we've had sort of steady action really. You know, we've had a few small ones. I know there is a good stock of big fish in here. Oop. And yeah, we've just started to see a couple of those. But yeah, it's you know, it's nice to be catching fish. So yeah, these are always welcome. There we go. He wants to go back anyway, so let's get him back. But yeah, very happy with that. Yeah, I've got the rod tips up again, which is something I do a lot, but they're up extra high this time just because of the weed. You know, it's important to try and keep as much of that line above the weed as possible, because basically I'm fishing over the back of a weed bed down onto little clear spots, so you know, for bite indication and just when I need to go out and get a fish, you know, if and when it happens. Yeah, it's important to keep as much of that line clear of the weed as possible, and that's the best way of doing it. Tips up, tight lines. I've got the butts locked down with the butt grips, and so you know there's no chance of the rod going anywhere. Fairly tight, not locked up. I'm not fishing totally locked up, but clutch is fairly tight, so you know when it goes, there's a little bit of give. Fishing braid straight through to a mono leader, and yeah, I don't like using just straight mono in weedy waters. You know, I just don't think you get enough direct contact. But with the braid, braid is like the other end of the scale. It's a little bit too severe on its own, so I like to use a mono leader. I've got a 10 metre length of 40-pound mono on there, and that acts like a shock absorber. And yeah, you know, all in all, it's a strong setup, but you need it in these conditions, and yeah, hopefully it's the right setup. Gonna be a job and a half. God, so much weed collected on the line. Funny, you know, the fish have been out there all the time, and I was expecting a bite during the night, and there was nothing, no bleeps or nothing. And yesterday morning was the same, nothing all night, and then it went in the morning. Good thing about this weed, your little flick like that, it does come off. But of course all this time I've not got a direct line to the fish, so just got to hope he stays on. Yeah, it's a bit of nodding going on there. Yeah, there he is, I can see. Oh, nice linear. God, look at him trying to bury down in the weed there. Can I get him? Yes. Brilliant. Oh, that's a nice way to finish. Last morning, just packing up. Oh, look at them lovely scales. Excellent. Oh, I'm well pleased with that. Just hoping for one more. And talk about last knockings. Well, we're literally just packing up. Probably had about another 45 minutes and that was it. Rods would have been in, so oh, lovely way to finish. Excellent. Little did I know that while I was out in the boat doing battle, one of the other rods had ripped off and Joan was dealing with that back at the bank. Oh, that's... Yeah, I can get in. I might have to put this one in a sling. Oh, I see.
Kept a tank.
Right. Yeah, if you pass it. Let go then. That's it. Right. Oh, put that down because always, isn't it marvellous? I mean, all night nothing's happened, and then in a couple of minutes, oh yeah, I can feel a fish on the end. Mad, isn't it? 2 bites virtually at the same time. A crazy ending to a trip. Wow. Great, isn't it? Oh, there he is. He'll probably bury himself in that thick weed there now. Another scaly one by the looks of it. I'll get the net over, so I might be able to scoop him quick, you never know. try and keep them in this clear area. That'd be handy. God, he looks nice. He's got back in that weed bed. There we go, before he realises what's happened. Got him. Yeah, lovely fish, lovely linear. Wow, it's a hectic way to end, isn't it? God, brilliant. Well, there we go. That was a crazy end to what's been a good week, wasn't it? Well, this is the first one, and yeah, little did I know that while I was playing this, Joan was doing battle on the other rod. I'll show that one in a sec. But yeah, lovely scaly fish again. They are beauties, aren't they? Yeah, it's been nice. I've enjoyed this. Fishing in amongst the weed and catching nice scaly fish like this. So yeah, happy days. It's another trip where it's ended up a hectic ending. So once again, we're in a rush to pack up. So I'm going to get him back and get the rest packed up, and we'll be on our way. But got another one to show you first. Okay, let's get this one back anyway. And there we go. This really is the last one now, as all the rods are in and packed. But there we go. This was a joint effort with me and Joan. We call this one Joan's fish anyway. But yeah, a bit bigger, nice, nice linear. They're all so lively, but they're lovely fish, they really are. So yeah, we've had a really nice week, so thanks very much to Tony and Julie and to Darren for making it all possible, and to Dave for the company, and yeah, we've had a great time. I'm sure we'll be back. But that's this trip over, so that is it. Get this one back and yeah, we're on our way again. So yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, see you next time. Mwah.